damaged crop costs potato growers an estimated £26 million a year, and the potato industry an estimated £100 million a year. In this series of films, we will highlight areas of high risk to help you reduce damage in your crop. In this field in Lincolnshire, the Potato Council's Claire Hodge caught up with Dave Smith to explain how to spot these areas of damage.
We've taken some samples out of the quality control room and we've looked at some damage that we could find. So we've got these 4 types of damage here. We've got a bit of bruising, we've got some mechanical damage, a good example of scuffing there, and really indentation there where you're splitting. The main one that we find is bruising, and it can be caused by all sorts of different things. It can be from dropping onto hard surfaces or dropping onto other potatoes. It doesn't take much to bruise a potato, and the hot box really brings out that bruise, and it can be really deep under the skin. By putting it in the hot box, it brings it out and we can peel it and see what's in there. It's a very small drop, can cause quite a big impact on it, so we have to handle it really carefully.
Well, for every one of our customers, even though they're after a very different product, their number one concern is bruising. Whether it's pre-packed crisps, oven chips or fish and chips up trade, bruising can take you from a high value crop to something nearly worthless, effectively stock feed. So it's the difference between a 10 quid a tonne or 200 quid a tonne.
Now we can look at an example of some scuffing. This has obviously been against something quite abrasive, I think, and it's caused this scuffing mark. It can make a difference depending on what kind of soil type you've had, and all sorts of different machinery can cause it.
Such as up the side of the machine where there's build-up of soil from not being cleaned off, maintained properly.
Yeah, and I suppose the soil type that you have in the field is going to make a difference to how that builds up.
If there's more of a stone content, you get more scuffing.
Yeah, and different seasons, it's always worth remembering that if it's wetter, the build-up will be more. We've got some mechanical damage here, and you can see that something's scraped quite hard against that, digging into the flesh, which has caused that impact there. That could happen anywhere. That could happen just over a hard edge or a bolt that's protruding. That's where maintenance is really important. If the rubber is degraded or something on the machine's not kept right, this is where you could get issues. It could be all sorts of different things that we find with mechanical damage as well, because we've got here something from the share, which is a more rough cut, which is caused. Yeah, and it's cutting it much rougher, whereas we've got some disc damage here, which is much smoother. So you can really identify mechanical damage by the shape and the feel of what's happened to the potato. And then finally we've got this splitting that can happen. That can be from an impact, or temperature can have make a real difference to that. So that's why it's really important to make sure that the temperature of the crop, not just the ambient air, but the temperature of the actual tuber, is checked before harvesting or handling of potatoes. It can be quite subtle, but that can cause problems in the storage season as well.
Now the crop has been checked, the next step is to minimise damage at key points in the harvester. In the next part, we will look at 10 areas on the harvester where your crop can be unnecessarily damaged.